Clarissa, and today we are going to go through a core exercise. So don't think core like crunches and sit-ups because those really aren't that effective. What we're doing today is working transverse abdominis, also pelvic floor and diaphragm. So really working to bring all the muscles together and get it nice and flat. Six packs are cool, but they're not really awesome if you're all poofed out, right? So we want to work on activating the transverse abdominis to help draw everything in. So our first exercise is tabletop pelvic mobility. Here we're learning to get both sides of the pelvis to move while we incorporate breath work to activate the transverse abdominis, the serratus, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, and get that whole core cylinder to work the way that it is supposed to.
This is an exercise for pelvic mobility. So if you're doing this exercise, we are stuck on pelvic mobility. Our pelvis should be able to shift side to side independently. So we're going to do this exercise. It is in tabletop position. You'll need a foam roller. You'll need a yoga block. So we start in tabletop. If you have a shorter foam roller, it would probably be more comfortable than this really long one. We start in tabletop. So hands are under the shoulders, knees under the hips. This is not tabletop. That's all sunk into everything. Your core is all extended. So contract, that's a bad word. We want the core not sucked in. We want the rib cage drawn together. When we draw the rib cage together, our whole core engages from the top, from the bottom, from the sides. And then we want those shoulders stacked right over your hands. You're going to grab the roller. Here, we want to put this over this. We're going to grab the roller here in between our legs. And there we go. All right, so we have the knee there is on the block and our other knee is floating. Since we're trying very hard to maintain a neutral spine and level hips. Now I want you to roll the roller up and down. Okay, tight core. You should feel this a lot in your core. To make it easier, we can leave the working foot on the floor. To make it harder, you're going to raise it up. Then I'm going to show you from what it looks like from the front. All right, so here, get your tabletop. Put the block under your knee and grip the roller. Okay? And stack those shoulders over your hands. Make sure that your core is tight. See how the knee comes up when you tighten your core? And then I want you to roll the roller. So let the pelvis down, bring it up. You're not flexing that leg. You're moving your pelvis. So if we do it from the other side again, so you can see, we're trying so hard to keep your back level, right? So lots and lots of core. Bring it up, bring it down. Bring it up, bring it down. Lots of exhales. That's going to help contract the core even more. And really try not to dump into the non-working side or the non-moving side. That side's working a lot, it's just not moving. So we want to start, if you can do 5, that's great. And then switch it over to the other side, do 5. And we'll start really easy with these. This is a really hard exercise.
From there, we'll move into some side-lying pelvic mobility. So same kind of concept where we're drawing everything together and getting that pelvis to move independently. So it's a very important part of working your core to be super strong is that your pelvis can move. All right, we are going to do a pelvic floor exercise to help us bring the core back together. So we're calling it side-lying pelvic mobility. So what we want to do is lie on our sides. You can support your head. We do want to be flat, so like not propped up. We want that rib cage flat on the ground. And I want you to bring your knees so that they're in line with the hips. We're going to stick a block between our knees. You can also use a foam roller. And from here, I want you to exhale really hard and pull this leg back in the hip joint, okay? So it looks like, and bring that back. Let me see, hang on. So you can see the rib cage come together. So we will, hopefully. So we want to exhale. And as you exhale,
you should be bringing everything together and then pull this hip back in the hip joint. So it doesn't need to be a big movement, and you'll probably notice that on one side there is more movement than on the other side. So again, this looks like exhale really hard and break. You can see how it brings my rib cage together. The sides are coming together because I've exhaled. It's drawing up and it's drawing down. So everything is all nice and drawn together, and then we're bringing this leg back in the hip joint. Okay, so 5 to 10 of these. They're very hard to do as you first start them, just because it feels challenging to do all of those things at the same time. But over time, we want to see that the rib cage has an easier time coming together. You know, that we're drawing the core in and up and down, making everything more solid and more tight like it's supposed to be. And that is our side lying pelvic mobility.
Then from there, we'll go into a weighted exercise. So this is a cable thoracic rotation. So even though like it has the word thoracic, we are working spinal rotation. So even if you're just here and we don't have any weight, we put our hands on our rib cage and we just rotate our spine, you can feel that these muscles here around the rib cage are engaged, and they should be bringing your rib cage closer together. So we're working our rotation. We don't want our hips to follow. We really want to isolate this from the waist. Maybe it's better to do this seated so that your hips can't follow you. But we're going to work that cable, that weighted cable thoracic rotation as another part of our core exercise today.
I wanted to do a core exercise. It's technically thoracic rotation, but there is a great element of core. So we're going to set up with the cable at about right hip height, but also like not lower the hip. We want to get our hands out in front of us. Elbows are soft. They don't want to come out for this one. And then very important, we want the hips to square. So we don't want to turn into a dip. We really want to work on spinal rotation, so the hips just kind of stay stable. You're going to pull this out, contract your core, exhale, and bring it around. So again, we don't want to pull into it. We really want that aspect of the spine rotating. So make sure your feet are planted, you're pressing through all of your toes, and you're really just spinal rotation. We want to try to get 10 on each side, and then we're going to flip around and do 10 on the other side. So the same thing, it's just working rotation in the spine and then back in the core, bring that together as you rotate towards the head.
And then finally, our last one is a tabletop hover. So kind of similar to a plank, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but we're working from the tabletop position. You can use a yoga block, you can use a yoga ball, but we want to use something so that we do have that tension between the knees to engage the adductors, which are part of this whole pelvic floor core complex. So this is a core exercise. It's called a tabletop hover. We're going to need either a yoga block, or if you have one of those small Pilates balls, those are really good and actually probably better than the yoga block. So we are going to go to tabletop position, and we are going to make sure that our back is nice and flat. We don't want sway back, we don't want arch back, we want nice flat back. So press through those shoulders and activating serratus, and then making sure that all of the core feels like it's nice and engaged. Then we're going to take our block or our ball, whichever one we're using, and hang on. I want you to be able to see my core. So we want to be able to bring the core all together. So we're here in our tabletop. We're going to press up through those shoulders. As you do that, you should have seen that right here, the top of my rib cage sort of like anchors together, right? Then we're going to press through the hands. We're going to tuck the toes, and we're going to exhale, and we're going to squeeze that block as we lift those knees up off the floor. So as we squeeze that block, our block back should stay straight and flat, and you should feel like your rib cage is wrapped. We don't want ribs flared out. We don't want the core going out. We want everything wrapped around and drawn in and really braced really hard so that we can bring these core muscles back together. So we're just gonna hold this here. We can start 10 seconds, 20,
30, wherever we can hold it and maintain that good form. And then as you get stronger with that, we can work in some progressions with it. But that's where we start with our tabletop hover. So those are our 4 exercises for today. Go ahead and give it a try. If you like it, let me know. If you find it helpful, I would love to know. If you hate it, let me know. All right, I hope you have a beautiful day, and be sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue to get our videos. See you next time.